Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Worthy, Worth It, and Priceless. I am your host, Tammy Simmons. Today's episode is a little different, but it is titled Missing You Out Loud. And this week marks 1 year that my dad passed away. And I hate like calling things like anniversary, especially like things like of someone passing. So that's why I didn't say the word anniversary because I don't think, I don't know. I I don't know. I just don't like the word anniversary. Like anniversary usually like a celebration type of thing, but it's like for someone passing away, it's like, I don't want to say that. But anyway, that took up a few minutes. But anyway, so the song that I have called Missing You Out Loud is for um my dad and my brother. Um they basically passed away 4 months um from each other. So my brother passed away first in September, and then my dad passed away in January. And I can say that it was the hardest time of my life. Um, the thing about it is, like, with someone passing, like, you're basically thinking that you still have time with them. I didn't like my brother's passing was like almost like a month before his birthday. So you're thinking like, and he would have been 40. So it's like, what I mean? Like we're gonna, you know, um, reconnect by the time he's, I know he's gonna turn up for his birthday and stuff like that. And then, we had conversations about, you know, meeting each other again, meeting up and stuff is, it's been like a long time from us, seeing each other because I live in New York and he lives in Georgia. So at the end of the day, we're like, we're going to reconnect and stuff like that. And, you're thinking naively like that the point that you're making plans, that because you made these plans or whatever, that that person's going to live long enough to, for those plans to go. And then with um, my dad was a little different, because I'm watching my dad or listen, basically he lived in Georgia as well. So we were, you know, um, distant from, as far as that. But the thing about it is just basically watching your dad grieve, you know, a child and things like that. And you're trying to encourage him as much as you can, but you know, there's really nothing that you could say for those types of things. And as far as my dad, I remember praying, like he wanted me to pray for him a few times, and it was like, um, that was like a big thing for me, because my dad, especially like for a parent to ask you to pray for them, like, it's like you feel like you feel good, and for me, it's like I thought my dad was joking when he asked me. And so but he was serious. He wanted me to pray for him. And after I got done praying for him, he was like, he felt like a weight lifted off his shoulders and stuff like that. And I was praying for his health and I was praying, that he got better. Even, I think probably like a week before he passed away, I was still praying, what I mean? And, I'm like, God, please, restore his health and stuff like that. And the thing about it is, and then next thing I know, he passed away. And, ooh, um, the thing that got to me the most, and I'm going to be fully transparent, was about the point that my dad didn't get healed on this side of life. That was something that I didn't understand, You know what I mean? Because, and I'm not saying anything bad about churches, but it is the teaching that some people do, that the whole thing is like, oh, God will restore, what was lost, and he will, he will give you back health. Like, what I mean? It's just like sometimes with pastors or people say, like, God will he'll turn it around and for your good. And I'm not saying that God is not going to turn around for your good. So please don't think I'm saying it that way. But I'm like, sometimes when people say that, it doesn't look the way that we want it to look. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, it's like I was asking for my dad to get better and, for his health to increase or, God to reverse whatever was going on and all of this. And at the end of the day, my dad passed away. You know what I mean? And so at the end of the day, it's like, that's not how I was taught. Like that's not what these pastors, that's not what people are preaching. They're saying that God is going to restore you back to health and you know what I mean? And whatever the enemy stole, you'll get it back and all this. But no one is saying that it may not happen on this side of life. They're not saying that it might not happen on this side of life. No one is saying that. But what they are saying is that, God will restore. He will, whatever the lotus ate, God will give it back to you tenfold, pressed down, and all this. And it's like, that's not how life always is. And it was a realization for me. And I know some people are like, yeah, that's how life is. But I've never had people that close to me pass away. So it's like getting a real life, um, just basically getting a real life situation happen in real time. Like my brother, which was my best friend, like even though I'm older than him, excuse me, I never lived life without my brother. And so I'm trying to process living my life without my brother that I thought was going to be here. I thought we were going to grow old together. I thought we were going to be sitting on the porch together and all of these different things. And now that's never going to happen. And then not only did I lose my brother, I lost a protector. I lost my dad. No matter what I was going through, my dad was there, especially in my dark times and things like that. He may have not always had the right words, like, how people say, but he always had an encouraging word. I may have not always understood it, his approach or stuff like that, but at the end of the day, I could go to him. He would give me encouragement and you know what I mean? And um before he passed, like my dad was telling me that he was going to pass, right? And if you have parents, and I know, some of you guys might know what I mean, and they just talk, you know what I mean? So you don't know if they're serious joking or whatever, but they're always saying stuff like my dad has talked about death for the longest. So you're like, okay, you know what I mean? It's like, I know you don't want to hear about this, but, and he was just telling me stuff. And he was explaining to me why he did the things that he did when we were children. When I tell you we couldn't go outside, we couldn't even go to outside of like outside of the street. Like we had a store right down the street. It was Winn Dixie. And we couldn't even walk down the street. And we never knew why, nothing. But my dad told me, he was like, I was afraid. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot of stuff going on. And so he's like, he was trying to keep us safe. But in our way, it was like, man, we can't do nothing. You know what I mean? Like, we're not even realizing that the reason why is because he was afraid. And so, um, during that time, um, you know, my dad, like, we just had conversations. And he was always calling me. He was like, I gotta make up for lost time because we didn't talk for a few years. And he was like, I gotta make up for lost time. He was always calling me. And I mean, like, he was calling me like 4 o'clock in the morning. And he was like, and I didn't one time because I was asleep, I didn't answer the phone. And he was like, I have it on my voicemail. He was like, "You up? You up?" And or no, he was like, "Are you at work?" "No, you ain't at work." I'm like, "It's 4 o'clock in the morning." Like, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, um, you know, to lose a sibling, no one prepares you for that because for the most part, you're supposed to be here with your siblings still. You know what I mean? Like, um, not saying that parents losing a parent is expected or something, but for the most part, it's like, you kind of know that your parents might pass. So it's like, but to lose a brother, my brother, who, you know, you're basically with each other, or, me and my brother, we were just like kind of like so in sync. And even if we didn't live in the same state, like I stated, but it was like when we would talk on the phone, it was like we could finish each other's sentences or whatever I was going through in my life. He was going through something similar, so we could, basically talk to the other person and fill in the gaps and the holes, especially about relationships. Like, he would tell me from the man's side, I would tell him from the woman's side. Um, but the thing about it is, no one prepares you, and especially not to lose them both within a matter of 4 months. And this song was basically me, my letter to them, my eulogy to the both of them, you know, the plans that we made and all of that. We can make plans for people or with people, but what I realized is that you don't know what the other person is praying for. I may have prayed for my dad to get better, but he needed rest. He needed peace. He wanted to be back with his son. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, it was like, oh yeah, God, please restore my dad and all of this. But his heart was hurting. He missed his son. I couldn't fill that hole, and you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, um, that's what happens in life. And no one prepares you for that. And so if I had to give encouragement to anybody who has went through that, or, you know, um, I would say this. It is okay to honor them and grieve them, but you also have to move on with your life. And I'm not saying don't take them with you because they will always be a part of you, but take them with you. Try to look outside of the situation because sometimes, like I said, like with people, we want them to stay, but we don't know what they're actually going through. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know the pain that my dad was going through physically, mentally, whatever. I didn't know. And so at the end of the day, it's like I could ask for you to get better, but I couldn't heal your heart. And also, too, another thing is if an older person or something like that, if they tell you that they're tired, take it as seriously as you can. Make sure that you tell them that you love them more. Although there was nothing left unsaid between myself and um, either one of them, I love you still goes a long way. And I also want to encourage you that and let you know that love never dies. It's eternal. I can't tell you how many dreams I've had of my dad and even my brother. They're still there. They're still comforting. So for you, if you're going through the same thing, the person that left your life, they didn't want to, but it was their time to go. They're in a better place to comfort and cover you. And they are with you every step of the way until you guys meet again. It's not over for you. You still have a legacy. You can still keep their hearts and, keep their minds, their memories. They're with you. They just may not physically be here. And as I heard someone else say, they just need better seats. They are now in the cloud of witnesses to watch you, cover you, and be with you. It's not over for you. Don't give up. It's easy to. And I know that you miss that person. Sometimes you want to be with that person, but your story is still unfolding. You still have more life to live. Make them proud. So if you want to listen to this song, it is on all streaming platforms. Again, it is called Missing You Out Loud. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Thank you so much. And if you wanted to look at the website, it is on TammyMichelleSimmons.net. I had to change it. So it is TammyMichelleSimmons.net. If you want to get more information. And on all streaming platforms, it is just Tammy Michelle Simmons. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.